Rob, first of all, just remind everyone, who exactly are the Uyghurs and why do the Chinese seem to have such a problem with them?
I think the reason why the Chinese have a problem with them is that they've proven very difficult to assimilate to Chinese culture. The Uyghurs are part of a Central Asian culture. They're related to the Uzbeks in Central Asia. They speak a language which is Turkic. They have Turkic origin themselves. They're predominantly Muslim and have proven very resistant to Chinese government propaganda. The role of Islam in Uyghur society remains very strong. And there is a great deal of resentment in Xinjiang, the main area where the Uyghurs are concentrated in China, to the efforts of the government to move Han Chinese people into Xinjiang to reset the balance, the demographic balance, in favor of the Chinese. In the 1990s, there were protests, there were clashes between Uyghurs and Chinese. People were killed, there were bombings, not just in Xinjiang, but elsewhere in China that Uyghur organizations took responsibility for. Quite a lot of Uyghurs joined Islamist organizations. And, you know, the Chinese leader, Xi Jinping, it seems, has decided finally on this tough line of internment camps, re-education camps, as rather euphemistically the Chinese choose to call them, which has led to these accusations of genocide.
Rob, tell us more specifically about this report. The language is incredibly strong.
It's very strong. You know, it's not the first time, of course, that people have accused the Chinese of genocide against the Uyghurs. We've had it from various states, including the United States, with Mike Pompeo, the former US Secretary of State, accusing China of genocide against the Uyghurs in January. But this is, in a sense, more powerful because it comes from an independent, non-partisan, non-government think tank, the Newlines Institute for Strategy and Policy, which has consulted with lots of legal experts on China, on the Uyghurs, on genocide studies, and come up with this report in which it identifies the UN Convention of Genocide, which identifies rather 5 acts which constitute genocide. And it says that China qualifies on every single count as having committed genocide against the Uyghurs. Now, what are these? The first is killing members of an ethnic group. And it says in the report that there are reports of mass deaths at the hands of the Chinese authorities of Uyghurs, as well as executions of community leaders. 2, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of an ethnic group. And in this, it refers to the establishment of these internment camps that I was referring to just now, in which torture, it says, cruelty and sexual abuse are commonplace. 3, inflicting conditions intended to destroy the group in part or in whole. Again, the references to the internment camps and to the efforts at indoctrination to overcome the resistance, the cultural resistance of the Uyghurs to Chinese propaganda. 4, imposing measures to prevent births of members of an ethnic group. And here they're talking about what they say has been forced sterilization of Uyghur women. And finally, forcible transfer of children of the group to another group, so that when the parents of Uyghur children are sent to the internment camps, the children, who effectively become orphans, are sent to state orphanages where they are brought up as Han Chinese children. Now, the reaction of the Chinese government has been very strong to this. Wang Yi, the foreign minister, just a couple of days ago, not in response to this particular report, but in response to more general criticisms of China in its policy towards the Uyghurs, described them as being preposterous and said this is a rumor fabricated with ulterior motives and a total lie. Wang Yi invited people to come and visit China and go to Xinjiang and see for themselves.
Rob, thank you for that. France 24's chief foreign editor, Robert Parsons.